Robert Williams is currently a transportation recruiting and operations consultant to numerous transport companies in New England. Between the year 2000 and the year 2005, he worked first as a temporary driver and then as a contracted driver for FedEx home delivery in Northborough, Massachusetts. Prior to that position, he worked for over 30 years in a number of senior management positions at UPS, Federal Express, Airborne Express, and United States Lines. Mr. Williams served for 28 years in the U.S. Army and retired as a sergeant major in 1996.
Thanks also to the members of the committee, the members of the subcommittees who are interested in this classification issue that is hurting so many FedEx ground and home delivery drivers today. After retiring, I read an advertisement in the Worcester Telegram and Gazette in April of 2001 for independent contractors at the FedEx home delivery in Northborough, Mass. The ads basically stated, run your own business, become a business owner with a national leader, be your own boss. When I applied for the position as an independent contractor, I was told there were none available at present. The manager offered to train me as a temporary driver before I could become a contractor and do any work at all at FedEx home delivery. I completed the mandatory training course and went to work as a temporary driver. I was paid by the hour as a tip for a firm called Education and eligible for overtime. I was furnished a uniform and rental van supplied by FedEx, but I was not a FedEx employee. I did not pay any expenses while at temp. State and federal withholding were taken out of my weekly check by Education. I continued working as a temporary driver until June 2002, when a real position became available. At that time, I signed a FedEx home delivery standard contractor operating agreement. I purchased a small commercial van that had to be white and inspected by FedEx for approval. After utilizing this van for a period of time, I was told it was no longer accommodate the number of packages for my area. I was told I would have to have a larger vehicle. So through FedEx, I leased a larger vehicle called a P400. This vehicle was painted white and had all the FedEx logos on permanent decals. This vehicle was also arranged for by FedEx, who took care of all the paperwork. I worked with this new van until October 15, 2002, when I was involved in a serious accident and hospitalized. I did not return to work for 13 months. I did not pursue workers' compensation. I was not able to work until early November 2003 and returned as a temporary driver. I worked on and off as a temporary driver, driving a rental van supplied by FedEx and being paid by the temp agency Education. I was offered a different route and soon became a so-called contractor again in June 2004. I was told I had to lease or buy a much larger truck than I had before. This new truck was called a P500 and was obtainable only through FedEx. It was white in color with logos, numbered in a FedEx series, and showed U.S. DOT markings on it. FedEx had a supply of these vehicles in their Manchester, New Hampshire terminal, and FedEx arranged the financing to one of the leasing companies they offered. The whole transaction, leasing arrangements, and credit information, etc., all flowed through FedEx. This was the only type of vehicle that FedEx approved. There were no exceptions. As a contractor, I was responsible for the cost of the vehicle, for the fuel, for the tires, for the maintenance, and all the operating costs, including breakdown and emergency expenditures. I paid a workers' accident policy in lieu of workman's comp weekly deductions. I also paid weekly for liability insurance for protective insurance. These expenses were taken out of my settlement by FedEx. There was no other insurance services or policy that were made available to us. We were told we could get our own insurance, but having personally checked the number of insurers, I found the cost prohibitive. Additional expenses were taken out from time to time were for uniforms, scanners, claims against me, mapping software, random drug testing, annual DOT inspection, and truck washing. No taxes or Social Security were ever deducted from my settlements. We were issued a 1099 form annually. I was responsible for reporting my federal and state tax to the federal tax authorities. In the holiday period of 2004, things began to change drastically. We were being monitored more and more by the use of the scanner. The scanner was a tracking device used to monitor our daily delivery areas. We are required each morning to report early to load our trucks, the number of packages in stock for which we the number of packages and stops were the means by which we were compensated. We were paid by the package and not an hourly wage. FedEx Home Delivery controls the number of packages tendered to the drivers and controls the amount a driver can make through their computer systems. This means of controlling a driver is ongoing today. There are many times when FedEx managers would not allow us to leave the building and go out on our routes until all the packages were accounted for. This could severely impact our earnings by reducing the time we would have to make deliveries. Packages were added or subtracted to our routes, affecting our earnings on a daily basis. I remain in contact with numerous drivers who are still with FedEx Home Delivery throughout the country. I contact many drivers in the New England area on a regular basis, especially Northborough, Mass. The same issues, treatment, and procedures I experienced still go on today. Due to my many years of working in the transportation industry, I understand clearly the differences between an employee and an independent contractor. The control that FedEx Home Delivery had over me and over the drivers it has today shows these drivers are controlled like employees but called contractors. FedEx Home Delivery drivers must pay for uniforms worn to FedEx standard with a black belt, proper shoes, no sneakers. They must purchase or lease a FedEx truck purchased by FedEx, prescribed by FedEx for size, color, and logos, numbering, etc. To purchase or lease a FedEx scanner, this is a mandatory item. The daily package deliveries cannot be performed without it is monitored by FedEx. Drivers must pay for all maintenance prescribed by FedEx and U.S. DOT. Drivers must furnish all fuel, tires, and other costs related to the operation of their vehicle. Drivers must pay for a weekly workers' accident policy and liability policies deducted by FedEx to protective insurance. Drivers who cannot work at a given day and cannot find a FedEx-approved temp driver are regularly threatened with contract terminations. To me, the biggest personal issue I had was the time-off program. Drivers, I continue.
You need to sum up now, Mr. Williams, and then you'll bring some of that into your questions and answers.
All right, I could let's finish up and say I was terminated by FedEx in December 2005. The National Labor Relations ordered an election before the company fired me and a number of other people who were attempting to support the union. The board filed a complaint against FedEx for illegally terminating me for protected union activities. There are more charges pending against the company for unfair labor practices in the Northborough location. A hearing is set for August. After I was terminated, I filed for unemployment and benefits in Massachusetts, and I did receive those benefits. I was the first one to do so under the FedEx ground or home delivery. Many present FedEx and ground or home delivery drivers would be too scared of the company's reaction if they testified. I am here to state my professional opinion. With over 45 years of experience in the industry, the FedEx ground model rests clearly to the misclassification of its drivers as so-called contractors. Thank you.